Hello everyone, welcome to Crimson Gray. This was developed and published by Sierra Lee, and this was released on July 14th, 2017, so quite a bit of years ago. But I have been wanting to play this for a long while. I just never had the opportunity to, and I felt like it'd be great for the channel. So let's go ahead and start the thing. I already checked my settings, it should be okay. John had always thought of himself as a stable person. Stability worked out well when he was just trying not to let the little things get him down. It wasn't so great when everything was crumbling around him. When the entire world started seeming gray and flat, then he began wondering if all that stability would kill him, and if he would care when it did. There weren't any highs or lows anymore. Whatever happened to him, John didn't feel happy or sad. He just... Hey, what are you doing spacing out, man? You're a real head case these days, John. You going to float away on us? Sorry, just distracted. A moment later, he started drifting away again. Even his friends' voices were nothing but buzzing in his ears, meaningless sounds echoing in his hollow shell. They weren't even really his friends. They were friends with the happy-go-lucky person he'd been at the beginning of the school. These days they joked about him being no fun, but it was more than just a joke. They'd get tired of him, find someone else, and then he'd be alone. He wasn't sure whether or not that would be worse. Whoa, is that creepy chick staring at us? I think she is. Who is that anyway? Lizzie Doss, I think. In our year, right? John, doesn't she have math with you or something? It took John a second to even register the question. They were staring at some girl who was staring back at them. I think she's quite pretty. She doesn't look creepy at all. She looked the same as all the other girls at their school. Shyer, maybe. She could probably hear them talking about her. He wanted to say something, but kept silent. Hi, Lizzie Doss. You must be our love, or something. Damn, she is really staring. Is she staring at us or John? I think it's him. You think she's a stalker? Her eyes did that thing where they get kind of cloudy. You know, when someone gets all yandere and murderous. Yeah, she's doing that right now. Yeah, those are some crazy eyes. You better watch out, John. They're real sad sack these days. We can do better than her. Shut up. The words were past his lips before he could stop them. Why did he even have to open his mouth now, all of all times? But he can't let them keep talking about her like that. People called him creepy or crazy all the time, and he hated it. But after those two words, he just stood there like an idiot. Even when something mattered to him, he couldn't pull himself together. What's wrong with you, man? Don't say things like that about people you don't know. She's just hanging up out here like we are. No, she's giving us some serious crazy eyes. Just leave her alone, okay? She hasn't done anything to you. Sheesh. Okay, man. You think she's going to fall in love with you as her handsome protector or something? That'd be just like John. You wanted to talk to the crazy girl. Be our guest. We're heading back to class. Don't wait up, man. The way her eyes moved, John thought she was focused on him so intensely that she might not have even heard what the other said. Did it even bother her? He wished he could be like that, instead of the smallest things setting him crashing to a state of worthlessness. And maybe she was like him, just capable of hiding it. John cleared his throat and walked up to check on her. Hey, sorry about them. They can be assholes sometimes. Well, I guess I don't have a lot to say. Sorry if we bothered you. John slunk away and cursed his own idiocy. She had been fine without him. He'd just made everything worse. There had been something hard in her eyes, a strength he didn't have. He had probably been projecting all his weakness onto her in the first place. She wasn't like him, wasn't broken. She could shrug out the things his friends had said and get on with her life. At least, that meant she could shrug off his annoyance too. She'd probably just forget all about him. Thank you. You're so kind. Such a kind person. The kindest person. The only person. Her smile's a little unnerving. I'm a little frightened already. She was looking pretty nice earlier, but there's something in her eyes. I think our classmates are right. She's got the crazy eyes, but don't worry. We're gonna fix her, right? I found you. I finally found you. I found you. Oh yeah, no, we're screwed. We just started. Hey, what was that? The teacher's voice was incomprehensible, but John knew he must be picking it up on some level. Okay, we're in 8 minutes in, and she's already gone a little psycho. Good luck to us. I wasn't sure how, but even though he stumbled through every day, he was doing okay in school. It seemed normal whenever he wanted to, it just didn't feel worth it. That was almost the worst part. It seemed normal even though nothing was normal anymore. It wouldn't ever be normal again. What did Mrs. Smith say? High-functioning depression? Such an awful, empty phrase. At least class was over now. He could go home, sleepwalk through his assignment, and then fall unconscious. At least for a few hours he could. Then he became aware of her. She was watching him. Maybe she wanted to thank him. No, he was being stupid. He'd done nothing worth thanking. More likely she wanted something from him, or, most likely of all, maybe she didn't care about him and he was imagining the whole thing. She was still staring, though. Ignore her, lose her in the hallways, glare at her, smile at her, go talk to her. Okay. Decisions. That's quite a lot of decisions to make. Let's go talk to her. Can I help you? If this is about before, I'm sorry. I just wanted to help. She looked really uncomfortable. Of course, she probably hated him as much as everyone else. Drowning in shame, John decided to cut his losses. Well, sorry to bother you. I'll be going. He needed to get to his appointment anyway. He didn't want Mrs. Smith getting mad at him again. Mrs. Smith was one of the only people John could focus on. He wasn't sure how much good she actually did him aside from prescribing medicine, but at least she tried to help. John, you're not looking so bad today. Did something good happen? Hi, Mrs. Smith. You're quite a voluptuous lady. A boy your age ought to be more interested in girls. Are you dating someone? No, I can't focus on people. Maybe I could prescribe you something for that. We don't have any on hand now, but I could get it quickly. It's an advantage of having Pt.1 in town. I don't want to take this medicine anymore. I don't think it's working. The Pt.1? But that's the first one you really responded to. I feel worse. Everything is so gray. Voices just echo. Can I go back to generic medicine? John, you need to understand that you're deeply, clinically depressed. It's my professional opinion that you should under no conditions go off your medication. When you're getting used to the medication, there can be some initial side effects. Sometimes things have to get worse before they can get better, okay? Okay. All he heard was that he was too broken for any drug to fix. He was so worthless even the newest drugs from Pt.1 didn't do anything. I'll renew your Pt.1 prescription and see about getting you a complimentary drug. We'll figure this out yet, John. Now, why don't you lie down over there and we can begin our session? Good. Get comfortable. Did anything special happen during the day today? No, it was a normal day. The therapy session quickly fell away into meaningless buzz. For a short time at least, didn't feel the emptiness. Finally, or too soon, it was over. Mrs. Smith told him he was doing well and sent him on his way. John slumped back home. The house was empty, like it always was. Ever since his mother left, his father spent all his time working. He did his homework, he ate, cleaned the dishes. He sat down in front of the TV and stared at it without turning it on. Somehow, he dragged himself into bed and fell asleep. The routine used to be comforting, but now it was starting to erode his sanity. His mind had to crack eventually. Maybe it was already happening. For a second, he thought he saw a girl out the window. But no. There was nothing. Of course there wasn't. He really was losing it. Are we sure about that, John? Another day. He had to face it somehow. It seemed impossible until the moment he finally stumbled into class. School was the usual mindless buzz. There was job fair announced in third period, as if that meant anything at all. Almost everyone in the school would either go to work for Pt.1, move away, or stay in town and become unemployed. John wondered which one of those would happen to him. From a distance, as if he was thinking about some person he barely knew. His grades were good enough to get into Koi Tech, but the process was so competitive. No, he didn't have enough energy for that. He couldn't imagine moving away, looking for a job in a strange city. Most mornings, the most he could imagine was surviving the day. But his father wouldn't support him, and his mother didn't want him. Once he graduated, there'd be no way he could stay with either of them. What would happen to him then? Would he just become homeless? Sit there on the street begging for change until one night he froze to death? Maybe that was all he deserved. John, are you alright? Sorry, sir, I'm paying attention, honestly. I didn't ask that. I asked if you're alright. I'm fine. Well, be sure to talk to the council if you're feeling bad, alright? We're lucky to have someone like Mrs. Smith with us. He had to keep it together. He remembered the lessons, but people were starting to think something was wrong. His control was slipping. He had enough time to visit his locker in between periods. There was more Paxatine there. He still had an extra dose left for the day. His locker was in the bottom row, so he always had to bend down, and there was a piece of paper sitting in the middle of his locker. Cheer up. That was all it said. Nothing on the backside, no other clues. Probably a girl's handwriting. Who left it? Hey, did you see anyone messing with my locker? Huh? Did something get stolen? There's way too many guys around here for me to just notice. Might have been a girl leaving a note. Like a love note? Keep dreaming, John. You think any girl's gonna love your sorry ass? Damn, dude, that's me. No. Of course no one could love him. So you didn't see anyone? Okay, thanks. Hey, John. You going to tell me she's Canadian? I'm heading back to class. See you later. And she's really hot, right? Your imaginary girlfriend sounds amazing. John knew he should probably just take over some more Paxatine and head back to class, yet he was still holding on to the paper. He wasn't sure why. It really could be a prank, one of the guys trying to trick him. Or so, it would probably be followed by another fake note, asking him to come out under that stupid confession tree, where they'd let him wait and then laugh at him. But for just a moment he saw the girl watching him. Could it have been her? By the time he got to class, John had a new theory. She felt sorry for him. He must have looked pretty pathetic, and she recognized his misguided good intentions not to feel pity. The rest of the school day passed in more of a blur than usual. He might be delusional, but part of John still hoped it wasn't a prank. He headed to his locker, not daring to imagine anything, and there was another paper waiting there for him. They shouldn't say those things about you. The handwriting is a lot more different. Oh shit. It didn't even look like the same person's handwriting. The verse had been beautiful calligraphy. This one was a hurried scrawl. If it was all a prank, he no longer had any idea where they were going with this. He'd already been beating himself up over saying the wrong thing, so this was too much for John. He had straight home to get some sleep before he cracked completely. The next day, John went in as early as possible and approached his locker anxiously. He wasn't sure what he wanted to find. There was no note this time, but there was a chocolate heart wrapped in foil, set in the exact center of the bottom of his locker. John stared at it for a while, then slipped it in his pocket and headed to class, even though he knew he would be far too early. There's no way he could eat it. If it really was a prank, they might have slipped a laxative or something inside of it. This kind of thing his friends thought was funny. But if it was that girl, it didn't matter now. What mattered was that someone clearly knew his locker combination and could get in whenever they wanted. That could be a real problem. He knew he should come up with a solution before tomorrow. But what? Tell the teacher, tell Miss Smith, try to keep watching the locker, replace the lock, leave a note. Okay, what do we do in this situation? I guess we can just keep watching the locker. It's not getting too bad. John spent the whole day near the door or hanging out in the hallway, trying to catch a glimpse of someone messing with his locker. He didn't see anyone, but there weren't any new messages either. Periodically throughout the day, he felt certain that someone was watching him, but could never tell who. John lingered at school until he was basically the last student, seeing no one. When he finally went home, though, that sense of being watched just intensified until he went to sleep. When he woke up the next day, he felt a little better. Things would be fine so long as he kept everything in perspective. Maybe. Making an effort to set the mystery of the locker aside, John went with his friends to the rooftop for lunch. They spread out on one side, enjoying the sight of the trees below. Midway through the meaningless conversation, John noticed that Lizzie was watching him from the far side of the roof. Her gaze was even more intense than before, so he uncomfortably tried to ignore her and focus on the conversation. Looks like the confession tree is in full bloom, huh? You really believe those stories? True love and all that? Works, man. Got a buddy who just graduated. He swears he got so much pussy confessing under it. Well, if you kept doing it, then it's not true love, is it? Come on. People have been confessing there for years. You seriously think everyone would confess under that tree if it did nothing? Nah, man. I think it's a tree of lust. Doesn't guarantee true love, just getting laid. That was true. Way more guys would be into it. But it's mostly girls from what I've seen. What do you think, John? I don't know. Don't be that way. You dream of a girl confessing to you under that tree, don't you? Yeah, like that crazy stalker chick. It'd make your heart go all aflutter if she confessed, wouldn't it? That tree is magic, man, I'm telling you. Even a sad sack like you could get lucky if you confessed there. Don't be stupid, it's just a tree. Whoa, someone has their panties in a twist. I'm telling you, everyone goes there to... Only because people like you keep telling these stories. There's nothing magic about the tree, people just believe it's special because everyone else says it is. Girls think the tree is romantic, so of course they're more likely to agree there. Guys would have to turn someone down in front of an audience. That's all it is. Shit, man, what is wrong with you today? With an attitude like that, you're never going to get a girl. You insulted a tree. He'll cock block you now. Oh boy, the eyes are back. That day, John couldn't get to his therapy appointment fast enough. Mrs. Smith smiled at him when he came in, but immediately saw he was unhappy. Are you okay, John? Perhaps you should be on a stronger formulation. No. Well, our session could make you feel better. Lie down and get comfortable. Yes, ma'am. Mrs. Smith, does Paxatine have any visual side effects? I should hope not. Coitec is the highest standards for every drug it puts out, and Paxatine is nearing its final clinical trials. Are you having any vision problems? John lays back and stares at the window. Was he really seeing differently, or was it all in his head? He stared a long time before he opened his mouth and just started talking. Everything just feels so gray. So you are having vision problems. Not literally gray, it's just sky today. I remember when I was younger, I was thought clouds were beautiful. Now it's like there's just nothing there. Nothing that matters. I look up and I just don't care. That sounds more likely to be a mental issue then. Why don't you get more relaxed and talk about it? Taking a deep breath, John did his best. As usual, after talking with Mrs. Smith for long enough, he felt not better necessarily, but at least not miserable. Their session went on by in a flash, and then he had to head home. He shuffled through his routine easily enough, slept fitfully, and then returned to school barely more rested. But when he arrived, he found a huge crowd standing and staring. What's going on? You know that tree students like to confess under? The words made John shiver even though he wasn't entirely sure why. He shifted to look through the crowd, and then he saw it. Oh fuck, it burned down. Parts of the tree were still burning, but the rest was charred, and ashes coated the ground near it. The store was dry, as if all the ashes were filling it. What happened? The cops are coming to check it out. The shop teacher said it looked like arson. Someone covered the tree in gasoline and burned it down. See, this is why we need cameras. I've been telling the principal for years, but does he listen to me? No one thinks. The words slid off his mind and John turned away while even saying goodbye. Not entirely sure what he was doing, he stumbled straight to his locker. When he opened his locker, he discovered a folded note set in the exact center, like always. He stared at it for a long moment before unfolding it with trembling hands. I didn't like that tree either. Sad face. Mad face. He stared at the words as if they were a foreign language, wishing he could avoid understanding the conclusion. I didn't like that tree either. It was her. It had to be. None of his friends would be that insane. And what would be the point of a prank like that? But what was the point of her? What did she think she'd accomplished? Should he tell someone? But this wasn't exactly evidence. And did he really want her to get in that much trouble? John decided he was being stupid, like usual. He just needed to talk to her and find exactly what was going on. Put an end to this. That day, whenever he was in the hallways, he could feel her eyes on him. With every passing moment, he became more unsure that she had burned the tree down. He wondered if a normal person would be afraid now. For him, it barely penetrated his numbness. He just wanted to find out what was wrong, and put an end to it. It took until after school for him to find his chance. When the teacher handed out assignments, he volunteered to clean the roof. John stepped onto the roof and headed to the far side. After a few seconds, he heard the door open again. He ignored it and instead climbed up to the tank. The upper area was meant to be blocked off, but the janitors had stopped putting up the ladder years ago. It turned into his shock, she was already coming up the ladder behind him. Reaching the top, she held her hands close to her chest and shoved her feet demurely. But there was a spark in her eyes. "Hello, Lizzie." "Are you never going to greet me?" "Hello." I said it. I said it. "Why are you following me?" "Because I like." Could this girl really have burned it down a tree? It didn't seem like she had it in her. "Were you the one leaving me notes in my locker?" "Yes." "How did you know my combination?" I watched you." Let's see. "Why were you watching? Who else would do that for you? Is there another girl?" No, there's not another girl." No, he won't do that. Surely not." John realized that she was in the way over his head. Yet his mouth was still moving, asking the inevitable question. "Why did you burn it down?" "Because it was a stupid tree. You're so smart. You said it just right. It was awful and stupid, and I hate it, and I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate. It's all because of you, John. I could never do what needed to be done before. Now I can." "Huh?" She wasn't stable. She wasn't even close. What had he gotten himself into? "I finally found you. You're the only one for me." Okay. Part of him knew that he should do something. Run away. Call for help. Yet. Why? Huh? Why do you care about me? How can you ask that? You're the best person. The only person. Bullshit. I'm just another high school boy. No, not even that. I'm worthless. No. Oh. That's from Post. She's not so shy in this one. She has a nice figure, I have to say. She's got a very nice waist and nice thighs. She's crazy and scary, but she's pretty nice. This is how people die. Handsome people. Pretty people. They just kill them. Don't say that. It's not true. It's not. I'm broken. My brain doesn't work right, and the strongest drugs don't make a difference.
No, that's not true, John. John is perfect. Perfect. How can you say these things?
The way her words flow together, addressing him directly one moment and in third person the next, bothered him almost as much as the look in her eyes. Whatever her issue was, it went deep. Yeah, it sure went deep. You're not well, Lizzie. You need help.
You said my name.
She didn't even hear the need help part. But I can't help you. I'm not worth anything to anyone. Just forget about me and find someone else to care about.
No, I could never. You're the only person who matters.
But why? You don't even know me. You don't care about me. I'm just part of your problem.
No.
Lizzie's pretty cute. Even when she does a little sad thing, she's really cute. I can't help but like her, but she's crazy and burned the tree down. And has a scary look in her eyes. It would be better if I was gone. Maybe you'd get better then. I don't know about that, John. It feels like she'd kill everybody else and then herself.
That's not true. It's not. I love you, John. I've always loved you. I watched you always. So good and kind and perfect, and even to a girl like me.
A girl like you. He could barely even listen to her words. John found himself wandering closer and closer to the side of the building, and she followed him automatically.
You're so sad, but you're still kind. I don't know how. You should be broken. Like me. But you...
I can't help you. If you want to help yourself, you need to forget about me and get real help.
No, don't say that. You're confused. Yes, confused. Poor John is so depressed. He's not thinking straight. He doesn't understand how much I love him. He needs my help.
Hey, can we put that knife down? The world froze for a moment as the knife glinted, and all he could do was stare at its edge.
You just need someone to take care of you. I'll stop everyone who says unkind things about you. No. I should just take you home and keep you there. Safe. Yes, you just need some help.
Where the hell had she gotten that knife? Would she actually use it on him? A second later, John realized that was a foolish thought. This girl had burned down a tree because he said it was stupid. He had no idea if there was any limits on what she might do. And would that really matter? He'd spend nights lying in bed wishing he had never been born, wishing he had a way to end it all. You can't threaten me.
John? Get away from the edge, it's not safe.
He took several steps to the very edge before she could stop him, and turned around to face her. The back end of his shoes hung off the edge of the building, nothing between him and the fatal fall. My life matters so much to you. Stop toying around with me.
No, you don't understand.
What do you even want? To stab me until I'm yours forever? Is that it?
Never. John is so good and kind. I would never need to stab him. Please come away. I'll take good care of you.
You can't. Maybe you have good intentions, but you need help. And unless you get it, you can only hurt me.
I will. Whatever you want, I promise. Just don't hurt yourself.
It was a lie, of course. She was just saying whatever it took to get him to step away from the edge. It was exactly how he'd imagined it would go. He'd stand at the edge and everyone would say all kinds of lies about how much he merited them, because they'd care for the first time. Not about him, but about the idea of him. But the look in her eyes, it couldn't be faked. It might be a twisted love, but she loved him utterly. She needed help too. Maybe he could be the one to help her, assuming she didn't stab him. But what the hell was he living for anyway? Lizzie? Would you make a promise with me?
A promise?
I'll step away. I'll talk to you. Or let you leave notes in my locker, or whatever it is you want. But you have to listen to me and get some help. Can you do that?
You promise? You promise you won't leave me if I say yes?
I won't leave you, Lizzie.
Forever?
The answer stuck in his throat, and he hesitated, wondering if he wasn't making a mistake and saying too much. But in the end, he swallowed and nodded. Forever. Now, set down the knife and now. Oops. As he started to step away, John lost his balance and fell backward. Suddenly he was in free fall, nothing between him and cold pavement. At that moment, Lizzie lunged forward, insanely fast, and grabbed his wrist. Well, you're fast and strong. Impossibly, she held him up. Her body was thin, yet somehow she had stopped his fall and held him up with one hand. Her eyes held a mixture of unstable fear and twisted desire. In that moment, he knew with absolute certainty that if he had fallen, she would have thrown herself off after him.
You can't die, John. You're the only one. The only one.
With that same incredible strength, she pulled him back up on the rooftop. Fortunately, she had left the knife behind when she launched to catch him. He was still anxious being so close to her.
John almost died. John, I love you. I won't let anything bad happen to you.
It was clear she was completely unstable. Or was she actually dangerous? She seemed to care about him more than anything. Or was he just so pathetic that he'd latch onto anyone who showed him the slightest sign of affection? Worthless. He'll keep her promise, right?
Of course.
Then tomorrow we'll go talk to someone. See if we can't get you some medication. Is that okay?
If it's what John wants, then of course it's okay.
Good. Then perhaps.
But I want more than that.
Huh?
I love you, John. I've told you over and over. Don't you love me too?
At least she was asking without the knife in her hand, but was there a good answer to that question? No, he had to think about it logically. Please don't make me make a decision in this time. She wanted to answer yes, but that might just make her worse. The risk of saying no couldn't be ignored either, though. Well, we're on the rooftop, so if I say no, she's probably gonna push me down and then jump herself. Yeah, I guess. Lizzie, I don't know you very well yet, but despite all this, I think you're a good person.
No, I'm awful. John's just being kind. And not answering the question.
I want to get to know you better, Lizzie. Maybe then I could love you.
He said it. He said it.
John desperately hoped that wasn't a mistake. He hoped this all wasn't a mistake. But he hadn't been stabbed yet, and after how today had gone, that was good enough for him. Then, I'll see you later, okay?
I'll be watching you. But yes. Later.
You're not going to do anything crazy?
No, John loves me. That's all that matters.
We both need to get to class, but we'll talk tomorrow, okay? I want to know how she does in her class. Does she just do normal human things?
Okay.
The rest of the day was even more of a blur than usual. Everyone's voices not even echoing in his head. John could hardly believe what he had just done. Yeah. It all seemed like a dream now. Had Lizzie really pulled a knife on him? Had he really threatened to jump off the school building? It made him wonder if he wasn't the insane one, but no. It had really happened. For better or for worse, he was stuck in this situation. Only when he was headed to bed did John realize that he felt strangely alive. Even better than after his therapy sessions. Okay, where does Lizzie live? Does she go home? Maybe it was the brush with death. Maybe it was just having something to think about other than his pathetic existence. But he felt almost good. Maybe that meant he was crazy too. But right now he was just glad to sleep soundly. In the morning, it all seemed even more unbelievable. John sleepwalked through his routine, half certain that he would find out it all had been a dream. But when he arrived at school, he found Lizzie waiting for him by his school entrance. She looked like she could have been waiting there the entire night. When she saw him, though, her face lit up.
John, you're finally here. I've been waiting so long.
Good morning.
Yes, it's a wonderful morning. I spent so long too nervous to talk to you. Afraid that you would hate me, but we had such a nice talk. Now I'm barely nervous at all. But my heart still goes crazy every time you get near, John. Isn't it horrible that we had to be in different classes? Lovers shouldn't be separated like this.
Okay, her face there's cute.
She has her cute moments. Will you eat lunch with me today? Please, won't you?
She could sound so adorable. Normally he'd be happy to have a girl like her asking to eat lunch together, but... fuck it. Sure. On the roof again?
No, there might be unkind people there, and you might feel sad again. No, I had the perfect place.
Where? Where is it?
That's a secret. I'll show you at lunchtime.
He really wasn't sure how to feel about that. For once, John had something to look forward to, or dread. He wasn't sure. The minutes seemed to crawl by until it was finally lunchtime. When he went looking for Lizzie, he discovered that she was waiting for him, waiting behind him, completely silent, watching. Hi, Lizzie.
Let's go, let's go! We don't need to go to the cafeteria. This way.
She practically dragged him away from the school and onto one of the paths in the nearby forest. Soon they got far enough that they couldn't hear any sounds from the school.
Here's perfect. Just perfect.
Lizzie faced away from him, giving a soft little laugh. Then suddenly she whirled around, rustling something toward him. A lunchbox.
I worked really hard on this. You have to eat it. You have to.
Okay. Thanks, Lizzie. She gave a little squeal and promptly sat down on a small rock. It seemed she had a second lunchbox of her own, but she kept it on her lap until he opened his. What's in the box? John was braced for a horror show, but to his surprise it was just normal food. It actually looked pretty good. He took a bite, and it tasted good too. John realized that Lizzie was staring at him intensely, as if her life was on the line, so he smiled at her. It's really good.
Yay! I worked so hard on it.
So, do you want to just eat together, or?
This is a date, isn't it? We should get to know each other more. I want to know everything about you.
Well, I'm nothing special.
That's not true.
Let me see, let's say... Despite himself, John found it easy to talk to her. He was sure he was sounding like an idiot, rambling about stupid mundane topics, yet she listened to every word with rapt attention. It was bizarre to have someone actually care about his life. His father had never had time, his friends were busy with their own things, Mrs. Smith was just listening professionally, but Lizzie cared. He knew that she wasn't well, but that her obsession was probably a sickness. Yet the pathetic part of him didn't care. He was just happy to have someone paying attention to him. Only after talking for a long time did he realize that he was talking about himself like a self-centered jerk. She didn't seem to mind, but he still felt guilty. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. I can do that sometimes.
Oh, don't apologize. I like listening to you talk.
It's been pretty boring though, honey. You already know a lot about me.
I want to know everything about you. I've been watching you a long time. I know all the facts, but I still don't know everything. I can't see inside your head. That's where the important parts of John are, and I can't see them. I wish there was a way to crack your head open and see all the thoughts inside.
John swallowed uncomfortably. You can always just ask me what I'm thinking, okay?
Okay, you're so nice, John.
So, Lizzie, tell me about yourself. And this is where I'll stop. I've run out of time. I'm sorry. It is getting pretty good. I am enjoying my time. Anyways, if you are enjoying this video, please leave a like, maybe comment what you think so far about Lizzie, John. If you want to watch more of this visual novel, please subscribe, and I will put the playlist down below. And if you want to watch other visual novels, please check my channel down below. Please subscribe to that one too. Thank you, and take care.